The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has unveiled the full list of the 74 standing committees along with its chairman and vice chairman. Some of the names include former Senate President Ahmed Lawan, Deputy Senate President Barau Jibrin. We also have Gbenga Daniels, amongst other heavyweights. Now, what should Nigerians be expecting from these committees, as they will be overseeing the activities of some ministries and agencies? Joining us in the studio to discuss more on this is a lawyer and public affairs analyst, Tunji Abdulhamid. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Now, let's even get your impression of these names and persons in these committees. You know, recall before now there's been talks about persons jostling for the juicy, committees and all of it. But now we have a list. What are your impressions?
Well, we have a normal, usual people on it. Those who have worked for the emergence of the president, those who have worked for their parties, those who have achieved one thing or other in the society, those who we see as a former speakers, former senator, those who are classified as having the capacity or in their own right have been given a position, or particularly the one they call a juicy position. So you can see them. You can see appropriation goes to
Solomon
Adiola. Solomon. You see, it appears now that all the thing that has to do with finance is coming down to us.
To us, who?
In this part of the country.
Okay.
I think he even retained that position.
No, he wasn't the one before. He was the one that contested against Akpabio. Sorry, in the what's it called? I can't remember his name again. I think Barau also. I can't remember whether he's the one. He was the one that was taking that position.
Okay, I think he was on finance. He was in charge of.
I think by their names, they are not. They are people who are used to the system. The majority of them, only few of them are new in the system. Like a former speaker, Tambua.
Yes.
He was the chairman as well. Gbenga Daniels. I think this is his first time of being a member of the. No, it's good one. It's good one. It's not about only member of the APC that has been considered. Even those who are from the minority opposition have been given what they call juicy position. So I think it's not for them to do their job.
And for former governors such as Aminu Tambuwal, who heads the Housing and Urban Development Interior, Mr. Oshomole, Ahmed Lawan, a former Senate President, heading defense, Yari Water Resources, Navy Gbenga Daniels. When you look at the crop of some people have even called them, Punch called them landlords, of the National Assembly, getting these positions, juicy or otherwise. But for the value that they bring, what are your thoughts on this? And with this value now, how they can use it to help their constituents and the nation at large. What are your expectations?
My expectation is that being experienced and being called a landlord, it means that you have been in the system for long. That is what it means, and then that means you have acquired enough knowledge and experience to do the job. So my expectation is that they will do the right thing. You see, the job of a committee is like a mini work of the entire house. In other words, breakdown of the members of the National Assembly into caucus or groups to be able to have a proper exactly. In other words, when you have a bill, for instance, and the bill is taken to the National Assembly, if all the committee, there are bills that they are usually considered by the entire house, the whole house. Then in that regard, the whole house becomes the committee, because when you see the process of making a law, we have what we call this first reading, second reading, and the committee stage. So when you get to that committee stage, those are the people that would, in other words, they are like specialization in those areas. People who are considered as having special knowledge of the area involved. In other words, that will give them opportunity to properly scrutinize the bill or whatever issue that is involved. In other words, they will look at the detail. Because if you are to present it before the entire house, they may not have enough time to debate and look at it critically. So they want to specialize and they look for administrative confidences. Let's break ourselves down into groups. You go for this, you go for that. So whenever issue that has to do with defense comes, the committee will be the one to look into it. So they will have more time. They will have more. They will be able to to look it critically and then consider it properly. But my worry is that, look, most times when they do this job, because this committee that we see, it's not just like a Senate initiation or whatever. It's governed by Constitution, Section 62 of the Constitution allows for it. And that's on the basis upon which they come on board. So, but most times, this committee are often being criticized of not doing the interest of the, or not protecting the interest of the nation, that they all oftentimes use it as to gain a benefit to themselves. In other words, when you have a committee on a particular area, and there are issues to be examined, that they will go there and be asking for, that is what people are saying, asking for what is in need for them. And in other words, which is not in the interest of the nation. Whatever they want to do, as my own task for them, is agenda is that, look, let the interest of the nation be at the front burner. And then they let them look at issue without any fear or favor, without any discrimination. They need to, they work, they are not different from the entire National Assembly. It's the same thing. You see, we are still talking about the role of National Assembly. The National Assembly, they have three major roles. Their primary responsibility is to make law. The second is to represent, and then to do oversight function. So in doing oversight function, the committee are very important too. You know that all the entire members of the National Assembly cannot go to a ministry and say we want to oversight. They will be representative. So they are like a standing representative of the National Assembly in area that has to do with those things. So the essence of that committee is that, look, it will allow the National Assembly to do a thorough job. Because after giving them the opportunity to look at it, they have examined it, they critically debate it, and they will come back and report back to the entire House for their own input. So they make recommendations as well. So their role is not different from the general role of the members of the National Assembly. But the point is that if you want to get it right, once the committee are not doing the right thing, the entire National Assembly may not get it right, because the committee will be the one to even bring out issues to them, report to them, and make a recommendation on what to be done. So if they don't do it in line with what to be done, they may likely not get a proper result in that regard. So they need to act in the best interest of the nation. They need to act or do things that will be considered as our national interest. Because they are those you see at the National Assembly, the 360 member of the House of Rep and the 109 member of the Senate, they are the entire 200 million Nigerians. So they are representing us. So people say, sometimes people come and say, when do we agree on that? Nigeria has not agreed on that. Once the National Assembly
has agreed,
the entire Nigeria seem to have agreed on the issue. So they are our eyes. They are representing us, and they need to do things that will give us, that will promote the nation. So if we are not doing the right thing, I don't want to be seeing the kind of thing we saw the last time, and there won't be result. When they want to do their investigation, for instance, you remember the off your mic syndrome. Yes. They call people to come and for investigation. At the end of the day, you won't see the outcome of the investigation, or it will not be implemented. So that should not be the issue in this case. The National Assembly should do things differently from what we have been seeing before. If you are doing the things in the same way, the same manner, you can't get a different result. So if you want to get a different result, we need to do it differently. But if you are not doing it differently, if you are doing the way it's been done before now, then definitely we are not going anywhere. There won't be any hope to be renewed.
Accountability is what I see you pointing out there, holding persons to...
Yeah, transparency and the fairness, the interest of the nation in what they are doing, and to also be accountable to us. In other words, let's see what we are doing. Justice is not only to be done. There must be seen to be done. Where in a situation whereby issue will want to be discussed, you will say it's a family issue, or it's a issue of critical importance. They will say it's a family issue, and then it will be
swept under the carpet.
Off your mic. To date, nobody knows what happened to the report, and that was the end. So that kind of a thing should not appear here. And then the National Assembly, the committee, should not make it a point of duty of using their position as member of committee to go and threaten NDAs that if you don't do this for us, we won't approve this for you, we won't approve that for you. Because if anything that needed the approval of the National Assembly is to be taken to the National Assembly, sometimes it will be referred to the committee to look into it, and then they take necessary, give necessary recommendation or necessary steps. So a situation whereby members of the committee would think these are opportunities to make money for ourselves is not in the interest of the nation. Right. So we need to act they need to act in the interest of the nation, and then they do their job meticulously.
All right, I just want to spotlight a few of the committees here. For instance, Senate Committee on Social Welfare and Poverty Alleviation. We know that the past administration, injected so much with regards to spending monies on social intervention and all of it, yet we still see that huge number of 130 million Nigerians, faced with multidimensional poverty. And the question came up as to where are these monies that government has been injecting into the matters of social intervention, and where have they been going? Who do they hold to account to ask questions? Who can, talk to us about what has happened? Now we have a committee. What do you want to see differently with regards to, yes, the government is coming up with palliatives to, alleviate the pain and plight of Nigerians with regards to cushioning the effect of fuel subsidy removal. But yes, we know that we'll still continue having social intervention programs, but how do we hold people to account such that the persons who need these monies are the ones who are getting it at the end of the day?
It's been difficult to hold people to account, particularly when it comes to social intervention, because we don't have the foundation for it. In other words, there is no accurate data to be able to ascertain what and how these things have been done and who are the beneficiaries. You see, and most times when these things are done, when this intervention comes, you only hear them on newspapers. You won't see people who are benefiting from it. So, and when it comes to National Assembly inquiring into it, that is the time they want to see it as an opportunity to also get their own from what. And people even sometimes.
Really?
Yes. The people see it. There have been allegations. It's not something. It's not. I'm not. There have been allegations when they invite a particular head of agency or whatever. When it comes, you tell them, no, they were saying this because they asked me for this. I did not give them. We have seen that before. Aruma Ote said this thing. It happened. I can't remember exactly what happened, but he made at the committee. He made the allegation against them. So many other examples. So this situation will come when people who are given the responsibility to checkmate are not doing it. They also want to be a benefit from it. We won't get results. So the social intervention is not working because we don't have the requisite data to pull it. You can see. I remember when our minister delegate now, a former Minister of State on Labor and Productivity, Mr. Festus Kiyamo SEN, when he came up with the 774 jobs, I was one of those who said that and that this cannot work.
But they held him to account. Why?
That was not held to account. In fact, he refused to come.
No, but at the screening,
what
had to speak.
They had him to account. What has he said?
He apologized.
He apologized.
Is that what we want to hear?
But then he explained that it was the CBN that handled that process.
CBN that handled the process. You see, if he had, why did he not come at that time? To come and tell them that it's not in my hand, it's in the hand of the CBN. What he told us at that time was that they want to hijack it from him. He did not tell us it was the CBN that is handling it. So for me, I didn't see anything being account there. They just want to tell him that, look, we have the power to invite you. But because when he becomes a minister now, they will invite him, he will tell them he doesn't have, he can't come. That kind of a thing, we should not see it again. The National Assembly has the power to invite anybody, even the president. When on the issue they made appropriation on, they have the power to do that. And when they call a minister in the last regime, we see a situation whereby ministers see themselves as above the law because the president seems to be backing them in that regard. So
what transpired at the Senate
here is just
not sending a signal that the 10th Senate will be different from
there is no signal here because there will have been signal. They say, look, in view of what has happened and that thing you have done, we will not clear you. If that happens, then you will see a different thing. Next time, any minister who is invited to come and he will come. Yes, at the end of the day, you will be clear. You just apologize. The other one too, you apologize. Everybody can do anything bad. Just do it bad, and when you come, just say apology. That is not saying a good. As far as I'm concerned, I won't lie to you. The screening, as far as I'm concerned, is just a formality. I didn't see anything special in it. That's not how to screen, as far as I'm concerned. If I'm employing you as I want to engage you, I want to employ you, and I'm doing an interview for you, I want to screen you. Will I be the same person who will be giving you? It will be giving the accolade on you to say, I know Mr. So. That's not the way to go. Let them come and showcase themselves. We know that. We know Festus Kiyamo is not. He's intelligent. He knows his job. It's good. But it's not only about knowing the job. It's about other attitude. When you don't have the right attitude, sometimes we have a longer ASU strike, just because the Minister of State and the Minister of the main minister of Labour, they were not, they were high-handedness. They were not willing to see themselves as a leader who should...
As a team.
Yes, not as a team. They see themselves as a, look, I can't be... in other words, I don't want to use... They prove like they are arrogant in a way, in the way the manner they had. So you see, the committee's work is to ensure accountability, is to ensure transparency, is to ensure that jobs are done properly. In other words, things are not done wishy-washy. In other words, you see some of the law that have been made. You start making the law after being passed, they will now realize that there's already a law. That means there was no thorough job done.
Right, but so, what do you think is the problem at hand now? Because you know, you've just mentioned a vital point about the powers of the lawmakers, especially the federal level, and even at any level, to summon anyone, even up until the president. But we have seen, and you've spoken to that effect of, you know, ministers, heads of agencies, you know, and you know, other cadres, you know, not heeding invitations or honoring invitations of the lawmakers, and on the face of it, it appears nothing much happens. Perhaps if you get an opportunity as a lawmaker to have a comeback, like in the case of Mr. Festus Keyamo, which you say does not even hold much water, but what exactly is it about, you know, the powers that the Constitution gives them not being enough? And, you know, if there is a need to tweak their powers, or is it about how well the lawmakers have even represented us? Because they're always in one form of scandal or the other. Recall the 70 billion naira you know, scandal about regarding the allowances and all that. Is that what you think the problem is, as to make the Senate or the National Assembly seemingly powerless in critical matters?
No, not so. Not about the law itself. It's about the attitude. It's about the president himself. If the president is showing a sign of look, I will
president
not,
of the Senate?
No, not.
Or the president?
The president of the country. He's showing that look, I will not tolerate insubordination or arrogancy or you see.
You mean on the part of his ministers?
Or anybody working under him, because some of them sees, you know, the president in Nigeria is the most powerful president in the world, because the power vested he has, and that's why you see the National Assembly, who should be a separate organ of government, see themselves as an appanage of the executive. So in other words, most of them see themselves as, once I have the backing of the president, you cannot do me anything.
Is that what makes the
that's why I said,
the most powerful in the world? Is that what makes him
not that the power? I'm talking about the power vested of the president under the Constitution. Right. There's absolutely more. There are only a few things that will be done in this country without the president being involved in it, and the power of finance is even the executive. So most times they use that to. So what I'm saying is that, look, if the president is showing them those his appointees, they know that this president will not tolerate insubordination. This president will not tolerate us disobeying the National Assembly. They will sit up. But what we see in the last regime was that the president himself was not bothered. When they call any of his ministers or any of his head of agency, he will not even say, why are you not, it won't be queried as to why did you refuse to go. And that's why most time that time, when we blame the former Senate President, Saraki, that time, that they don't pass a bill, budget on time, it wasn't their fault. When they will invite you to come and defend the budget you presented, you will not come, and then you expect them to pass in that regard. So the president will be the one to lead in that regard. Say, look, my minister, you must respect the National Assembly. Whenever they invite you, you must go and explain to them. You must go and do this to them. So when they have that understanding, and or not even tell them, when they do that kind of a thing, and the president says, come, why did you do that? It's been queried. Next time they will invite him, he will go. So that respect will be there. But the National Assembly, too, I don't think they see themselves as having that power, because they see themselves as appendages, and then they see themselves as whatever the president wants, we must do, or we must follow the president. I'm not saying they should be fighting. The presidency and the National Assembly, the executive and the National Assembly, they should be working as in other words, because we are all having the same interest. Interest is to promote Nigeria and to make Nigeria better. So if we have that same interest, I don't see why we should be fighting. We should be a partner in progress. So it's not about we are bigger than you are bigger than me. Everybody has his own role. And then so when that happens, when the National Assembly also see themselves as, look, we have power, and they want to submit, no minister, no head of agency would disrespect them. Because they also, you know, when you have taken food from a small boy, you know, that when you behind, when you give him food, you also take small from it. You become the same thing, and so they will not even respect you any longer. So that's what's happening. So, so they should the habit of seeing themselves as we must make money from this thing that we're doing. Whatever they are doing should not be there. Once that is not there, they will be respected. In other words, if you go and do an oversight function, and you're not expecting anybody to give you
anything from it.
For transport, even if they give you anything from transport, you say, no, don't worry.
Thank you very much. I'm doing my job. Very good.